Greater Lagos. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àjùmọ̀ṣe ni.
Nigeria and its mega city Lagos have been experiencing a part of the global crisis in rising cost of living standard. Residing in Lagos has become increasingly more expensive, and this has caused a major concern for its citizens, particularly the poor and vulnerable group. The rise in cost is attributed to various factors, one of which is the petrol crisis in Nigeria. On May 29, 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu announced in his inaugural speech the removal of subsidy on petroleum products, also known as premium motor spirit, and this has inadvertently led to a high rise in the price of petrol. The rise in fuel prices have had direct impact in transportation fare, further worsening the cost of living for the poor. Studies have shown that 41.9% of individuals in Lagos State have experienced an increase in transportation. This increase in transportation fare directly affects the vulnerable as it limits their mobility and access to essential services such as healthcare, education, and employment opportunities. On this week's episode of the program Greater Lagos, we bring to the forefront the way at which the Lagos State government is stepping in to relieve its citizens of the fuel crisis and also the alternatives provided. My name is Glory Benjamin, standing in for Lucy Iyame.
In a chat with the General Manager, Lagos Waterways Authority, Mr. Emmanuel Oluwadamilola, he speaks on the safety of Lagos waterways and the government's plan to make it an intermodal means of transportation.
Greater Lagos. Greater Lagos.
And with us today, we have the General Manager, Lagos State Waterways Authorities, Mr. Oluwadamilola Emmanuel. Nice having you, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, let's go straight into it. So considering the present situation, would you say that water transportation is a safe alternative means of transportation, to the Lagosians?
Most definitely. Over the years, the state government has been very focused on safety, and that's why we've been intentional about what the things we've been putting in place to ensure that it's as safe as possible. And we would like to obviously commend the efforts of the state government to say that in line with basic safety measures, I think the state government has been able to put a good system in place to ensure that we have a safe water transportation system.
Okay, so from what you said, would you say that it has improved from what it used to be, the water transportation? Are there things that needs to still improve, or are there things currently being done to improve what was?
Well, I'll say that it's improved tremendously, and we always like to refer to the accident rate, which obviously sends a bad signal to anyone who wants to use the waterways. In previous years, we used to have a minimum of over 10 incidents in a year, and last year we recorded just 2 incidents. And of course, we are always saddened by those incidents because we have to review and find out how to prevent them. But the fact that it came all the way from 10 to just 2, it also shows that we've been doing something quite intentional. And this year so far, we've not had any, and we just continue to ensure that we don't have any major incidents on our waterways. And this is very intentional. We didn't just only pray. We've also planned, and we've also put in place certain measures to ensure that these accidents don't occur. And generally, once accidents are not occurring, people are adhering to safety rules and regulations, we have a safe waterway system.
Okay, can you tell us a few of those measures that were put in place?
Absolutely. Okay. Definitely. One of the very first things we had to do was provide and increase the workforce, the people who oversee safety of the waterways. They were increased from 48 to 108 to ensure that we can cover each of our different points on the waterways and ensure that people are, making sure that they're wearing their life jackets, there's no overloading. If they see anything, they're able to report back to the office. That's the first thing we did, was increase the workforce of those who oversee the waterways. Second thing we did was also to ensure that we put in place a command and control center, which enables us adequately monitor the waterways on a daily basis and are able to report incidents as they occur. Thirdly, we're able to also ramp up our patrol system to ensure that the patrol system is more frequent and more regular. And of course, down to the operators themselves, we started to carry out what we call random inspections as an addition to the already existing biannual inspections we used to do. These are some of the things we put in place. And of course, continuous awareness of making sure people wear their life jackets, and also enforcement, because the carrot and the stick approach for the life jackets. In as much as we want to ensure that we're providing information, we're donating life jackets as the state government. For those who also are breaking the rules regarding life jackets, we also penalize them and also ensure that they, of course, do what they should do as well. So with those measures, of course, much more which will still come, we've been able to ensure that the safety of the waterways is improved.
So judging from the present situation of the country, we all know what the country is saying. Would you say that there have been increment or there have been a bit of subsidy on waterways? Well, you see, the roads are free, so what do you expect? Roads being free as well. I mean, all of the modes of transportation have been greatly hit by a reduction in using, and water transportation is actually more expensive than road transportation because it's a capital-intensive sector. So there's no way you will have probably seen an increase. Either you see the same number or there's been a slight reduction in those who are using the waterway. So definitely there's been a reduction and not an increase. So are there more people who are interested in using the water transportation these days? Most definitely they are, but of course, the price obviously has been a determining factor, which the state government is now looking to see. Just the same way we have, just the same way on the road transport, the price has been heavily subsidized. The state government is also looking for how to do that as well on the waterways transport. But a larger percentage of them are the private sector and are not the state-owned. But the state-owned ferries are also subsidizing their rates at the moment. But we also want to see how to enable the private sector operators also be able to reduce their fares amidst the tight economic conditions which they are functioning in.
Greater Lagos.
Did you know that in 2008, the Lagos State government enacted the Lagos State Waterways Authority Act, which established the Lagos Waterways Authority, LASWA. LASWA is charged with the responsibility to coordinate and manage the reforms necessary for the long-term growth and development of water transportation in Lagos State, including the granting of ferry licenses and concessions for the operation of terminals to the private sector. Water transportation is an integral component of the development of Lagos' intermodal transport system. It is one of the advantageous transport modes having the least impact on the environment, the lowest cost for city transport, enormous capacity reserves, and least energy consumption. As part of effort to promote the use of water transportation in Lagos State, which is in line with the themes agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration, the Lagos State government, through the Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development, commissioned 4 new jetties and terminals located in different parts of the state in May 2023 as part of the programs celebrating the inauguration of his second term in office. The jetties include the Ijegun-Egba Ilashe jetty in Amuwo Odofin, Ishalu Ajido jetty, and the Ofin Ikorodu jetty. The occasion took place simultaneously at 3 locations within Lagos West Senatorial District.
Now the commissioning proper of this historic and auspicious occasion.
To commission this jetty to the glory of God, the use of mankind, in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Lagos.
To the glory of God and the benefits of the kingdom and its environs.
Ìlà àṣẹrẹ òtóróró lomi ṣàn ó ayé. Ìlà àṣẹrẹ òtóróró lomi ṣàn ó. Òtóróró lomi ṣàn látò òkú wá ọ̀sàràrà lomi ṣàn látọ̀ sábọ̀ ó. Ikú ò máa rí wá lóde yìí. Ìlàṣẹ o ìlàṣẹ rè òtóróró lomi ṣàn oko. Ìlàṣẹ rè ẹ má má bá wa dáṣà o. Ayé ìlàṣẹ rè ẹ má má bá wa dáṣà o. Ẹ má má bá wa dáṣà pé kò sówó o. Ẹ má má bá wa dáṣà pọ́jà òta o. Ẹ má má bá wa dáṣà pé kò sówó o. Ẹ má má bá wa dáṣà pọ́jà òta o. Owó ò máa wá wà lóde yìí. Ìlàṣẹ o ìlàṣẹ rè ẹ̀kọ́.
Greater Lagos.
It is my honor and pleasure to officially commission this jetty to the glory of God and for the benefit of all the people in this community.
While commissioning the Lashe jetty, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by the head of service, Mr. Hakeem Muri-Okunola, assured Lagosians of government's commitment to complete the construction of all the ongoing jetties and ensure the safety of Lagos waterways. He promised not to take their loyalty to his administration for granted.
He has advised the community to take full ownership of this jetty because maintaining it, the state government will definitely support. But if they don't open their eyes to people who will damage it, there is a police post here, an area command, to monitor and ensure safety of all the assets that have been donated to this, have been provided to this community by government. So the community is advised to take full ownership of it. We advise Lagosians to enjoy the facilities provided on water in a safe manner using life jackets. It's not for fun, it is for transport, and they should see it as such. We advise our drivers on the waterways not to be intoxicated or drunk while carrying people because lives and property will be at risk. Yes, the security on the waterways in Lagos State is assured, is guaranteed. The government is sparing no efforts in ensuring that the police and all the apparatus, Nigerian Navy and everybody are comfortable providing these services to our society, to our people.
The jetty is said to be one of the key infrastructures needed to make water transportation a viable sector to attract private investors. That's all on Echo Daily. See you next week.
Greater Lagos.
Me, I prefer water transportation than road because it's the fastest way to get to where you are going to. If you target like within the next 30 minutes, you get to Ikorodu or 25 minutes, surely you get there. But by road, you cannot predict the time that in the next 30 minutes you get to Ikorodu. So almost every time, from in the morning and in the afternoon, coming to work and going back to my house.
It's a very good idea. I never thought I will ferry across. I'm from the north, kind of middle belt, but I'm happy I crossed with using the ferry today. It was quite smoother than what I actually anticipated. I guess. I was skeptical in the beginning, not being used to the river Rhine, but when I got there, I saw everybody was comfortable, so the anxiety went away, and I really enjoyed it, to be sincere.
Personally, I feel like water transportation is very effective and safe because so many things are being put in place to ensure safety of both the customers and the boats. And most of the boats on waterway, they are like fit for water services, so it's very safe. Often, I use it like on a regular basis.
Greater Lagos.
How do you regulate license of ferries to private organizations?
Well, the first thing is that they have to obviously indicate their interest, and then when they indicate their interest, we also ask for them to bring in their boats so we can assess their boats, and then they fill an application form, and of course it goes through its normal, the requisite state approvals, and then once it's approved, then we issue the license.
How do you intend to make this means of transportation attractive?
Well, I think one of the ways of making it more attractive is the fact that the state government is actually looking at water transportation not in isolation.
Okay.
It's looking at water transportation as a multimodal system. And when I say multimodal, that means how does it link to other modes? We've been able to effectively put in place intermodal, which is between water and the road, because when you get off the jetties, you can either get into your first mile, last mile buses, you can get an Uber, you can get a lag ride, you can get a taxi, you can get the other smaller buses as well, or of course you might decide to walk to your final destination if it's close by, and beyond that as well, we've been able to ensure that because that they all link together, and the whole point of now having multimodal is that the rail system, which is starting as well, will make it a multimodal system, which is more than 2 modes. When you have intermodal, it's 2 modes. When you have a multimodal system, it's 3 modes. So one of the ways of making it more attractive is to link it one to other modes, and then secondly as well, to try and create other attractions around where the jetties are. So maybe you have supermarkets there, you have POS points as well, where people can come and also be able to do other things while trying to get onto the ferry.
Part of your vision is to transform Lagos into a model city with world-class inland waterways infrastructure. So looking at it from where you are right now, would you consider that there's been an infrastructural transformation?
Most definitely. This year alone commissioned 7 jetties, which obviously are going to be fully operational as soon as we get the interested parties who want to run, because the state government provides this infrastructure, but of course government doesn't run it, so we get the private sector to run those jetties as well. So with that, that's just one of the components which we've been able to use to upgrade the waterways. Secondly, I mentioned earlier as well the command and control center, which is actually the first of its kind in anywhere in Africa, where you have an inland waterways control room. With that, it also has boosted safety significantly, as well with the patrol boats as well, and of course interagency collaboration, whether it's at state level or between state and federal as well. These are things that are helping us to ensure that we can build a world-class waterways transportation system.
So currently, would you classify Lagos State waterways as world-class? Most definitely.
I mean, we have other states trying to benchmark us now, because 28 out of 36 states actually have an inland water transport capability. We're constantly speaking to them. They're constantly coming to Lagos to learn from Lagos. So I leave that answer to to those who obviously know this, to answer whether Lagos State is truly a benchmark in Nigeria or not.
Okay, so what do you say to those who still have phobia to use water transportation?
Well, the first things first is that, look, the state government is putting everything in place to make it as safe as possible. Okay. And generally, if you Google it and you probably check around, you find out that water transportation is actually the safest mode of transport, because really, you're not going to have traffic, and it's very rare for you to say, oh, two boats are clashing each other, except carelessness from the operators. And once you have your life jacket on, in case of any emergency, you will always be safe until rescue gets to you.
All right, we have that. Once you have your life jacket on, you are safe. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Oluwadamilola.
Thank you very much.
And that's it on Greater Lagos.
Greater Lagos.
Welcome back from that report. In his promise to Lagosians, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has vowed to serve the citizens of Lagos to the best of his ability. And it's good to know that he is taking that promise seriously, especially to the common man in Lagos State. That's all we can take today on this week's episode of Greater Lagos. Till I come your way next week to keep you abreast on the Lagos State government activities and how it directly impacts its citizens. My name is Glory Benjamin. Thank you for staying in tuned.
Greater Lagos. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àjùmọ̀ṣe ni.